welcome back to the channel. Tonight is Tuesday night. We are going to be talking about how to stop emotional eating. So emotional eating, it's a big one. I almost just said lots of us struggle with this, but I would gander to say all of us have or currently in some form struggle with emotional eating. And so if we actually take a look at what is emotional eating is when we have, it can be any emotion, right? So think of an emotion that you might have: happy, sad, excited, angry, anxious, stressed. It is what we do in response to having that emotion, okay? And so often, those of us that struggle with our weight, we've actually used food to try to self-medicate, to try to make ourselves feel better, and in some cases, not even to self-medicate, in some cases, just to celebrate. Because some of us we emotionally eat based on a happy emotion. It's not always a sad or a frustrated emotion. And some of us do it for all the things. Like, I was a really good emotional eater. I emotionally ate when I was happy. I emotionally ate when I was sad. I emotionally ate when I was frustrated. I emotionally ate when I was lonely. Like, you think of all the emotions that you can go through. I emotionally ate when I was tired, because then, I could go to bed on a full belly. Like, I was a champion emotional eater. And for a lot of us, this emotional eating is not a new thing for us. The truth is, many of us have been set up to fail in the emotional eating department. Many of us have started emotionally eating from the time we were kids. In fact, many of us were raised and trained up how to do it, like how to do it and how to do it well. And you're like, wait, what? And so for a lot of you, this isn't your fault. Like, this is a habit you learned as a kid. This was something you watched your parents do, your grandparents, your teachers, the adults that were around you, people on TV. And it was something that you were actually, and so I'll give you some examples. So if any of you were ever younger and you had like something happy take place in your life, you won your baseball game, you got an A on your report card, you did something like that, and your parents said, yay, let's go get ice cream. You won the baseball game, Johnny, whoop, whoop. And your parents took you to get ice cream because you won. Now, there's a connection made. There's a trigger, if you will. I did something good. I need to celebrate with food. Okay? So think about all the times, like for me, and this comes from well-intending parents who don't think about, I'm creating a trigger that when this happens in their life, right? It's like if you ever look at the study of Maslow's dog, they rang the little bell thing and then they fed him. So they trained the dog whenever the bell rang, that was a trigger. The dog would start salivating because he knew it was time to eat. So they created a trigger for the dog with the bell, dinging of the bell. The dog's, like, he didn't even see the food and the dog's mouth started salivating in anticipation with what was going to come, right? So for a lot of us, when something good happens, we get a promotion at work. Things are going well. We're celebrating an anniversary. The way we want to deal with that happy emotion is to eat. And for a lot of us, that stemmed from the time we were little. We've also seen people stress, right? They've had a bad day at work. They've had one of those weeks. Oh, I had a day from heck. I'm not cooking tonight. We're going through the drive-thru. We're getting pizza. For me growing up, it was Little Caesars. Pizza. And when it was a long day, when my mom was stressed, we went and got pizza. That was just what it was. And so when we were out busy and we had been shopping or, doing whatever, it was just, okay, we're busy. We're now going to get takeout. We're now going to get pizza because we don't have time to cook. So another trigger was created that when we're busy, we just go through the drive-thru. When we've had a stressful, crappy day, we just go through the drive-thru. Another one was, it could be stress, right? We saw people when they're stressed, they stress eat. Or when they get in a fight with their spouse and they're angry, they go eat, okay? So there's all these, so emotional eating, it's all different kinds of emotions. Some people can eat out of grief, can eat out of sorrow, can eat out of one of mine was loneliness. Whenever my husband would leave town, we always traveled together. And after we started having kids, we had 2 kids, 15 months apart, which basically for 3 years, I was either pregnant or nursing. And so there was some times where I wasn't going with him, right? And he would leave and I would get lonely and it'd just be me and the kids. Part of it was lonely. Part of it was just like, okay, we're going to go through Taco Bell. We're going to go get McDonald's. We're going to get ice cream. And I would use that emotion of loneliness, and that became, I would eat. Okay. And so emotional eating, there's an entire range of things that can trigger us to emotionally eat. It's not always sadness. It's not always happiness. And so the first thing when it comes, I'm going to give you 3 different things that you can do to stop emotional eating. Okay. So the first thing is you've got to recognize the triggers. Emotional eating always has a trigger. So it can be, what are the emotions that cause you to eat? So it's recognizing, is it when I'm happy? Is it when I'm sad? Is it when I'm frustrated? Is it when I'm lonely? And you're going to start, if you actually start digging into this and you start recognizing, when do I emotionally eat? Where do I want to do it? Where do I do it? You're going to start recognizing similar patterns in the emotional eating. So for me, a big one, always when I was happy. Always. The emotion of happiness always triggered celebration. Celebration always triggered food, sugar, alcohol, whatever it is. And so you want to find, what is the trigger? So look, and how do you find the trigger? You look at your life. You look at the last several times you emotionally ate, and what was the trigger? What emotion was the trigger? Okay. Second thing. And so that's the first, recognize the triggers. Second thing, okay? You've got to make a plan. And when I say make a plan, you've got to make a plan of, what am I going to do the next time this happens? What am I going to do the next time? See, most people are going to try to change the trigger. Well, if stress is a trigger for you, are you going to get rid of stress? If confrontation is a trigger, are you going to get rid of people? If happiness is a trigger, are you just going to stop being happy and joyful and having things to celebrate? So you're not trying to get rid of the trigger. We are all going to have triggers in our life that push our buttons, things that happen to us, things that are out of our control. So it's never trying to change the thing. What we're changing, what we're making the plan for, is how we will react, how we will act when it happens again. Okay? So if my goal is to be healthy, if my goal is to lose weight, and I get a promotion on my job, if I have a good day, if, my husband and I had our 10-year anniversary, what can we do that doesn't revolve around carbs and sugar? What can we do that doesn't revolve around 1,000 calories? What can we do? There's lots of things to do that don't involve food at all, is the truth. Most of us have just been raised from the time we were knee-high to a grasshopper to adults. And then what happens? Those of us that have been raised like this, we have now raised our kids like that. It's still, I have to make a conscious effort not to reward or punish my kids with food. A reward, if you win, if you get all A's, we're going to get pizza. And then how we takeaway food, if you don't eat your dinner, you're not getting dessert. If you don't clean your plate, you're not getting no dessert. So now we're teaching our kids to overeat so that they can get more food. Awesome. And so most of us, and we don't even think about it, right? I was so guilty of all these things and wasn't even aware of it. And so the next time you get stressed and you want to eat, what will you do instead? Maybe you'll take a walk. Maybe you'll take a bubble bath. Maybe you'll go do a workout. Maybe you will go watch, elephants fighting. You'll watch apes on cars. Whatever it is that is your thing, what will you do the next time you have something happy? When you're sad, when you're frustrated, when you're stressed. Because when you don't have a plan, then what we naturally do is we fall into our old habits. And emotional eating for us has become a habit. A habit is something we do without even thinking about it. Most of us don't even think about the emotional eating. We just do it and then we think about it later. Most of our emotional eating is a reaction. It's a habit that we have. When this happens, here's what we do. When this happens, here's what we do. When this happens, here's what we do. And the only way to get out of that habit is to start making a plan of the next time this happens, here's how I'm going to deal with it, okay? And the more specific that plan is, the better. And, you know, for me, it was when I get stressed or when I'm sad and I just want to pummel somebody, I'm going to go do a workout. I'm going to take a walk. I'm going to go take a hot shower. I'm going to take a bubble bath. And so those are all ones that I've used in the past in place of eating. When I'm happy, when I was celebrating losing weight, I'm not going to go celebrate, you know, by eating a whole pint of ice cream or a whole pizza. No, I'm going to go buy myself a new pair of workout shoes or a new pair of workout pants. I'm going to reward myself with like something that's not food. Okay? All right. The third and final thing is celebrate your wins. Celebrate the progress you are making. Listen, none of us on this earth are perfect. And so many times, we can have a tendency to be our biggest critic, to look at the areas where we're not perfect, to look at the areas where we need improvement, to look at the areas where we're not doing good enough. And I'm not saying that we never need to reflect and that we don't need to be able to look in the mirror and be honest with where we're at. But at the same time, if you can't celebrate your wins, because your wins are a sign of what's to come. Your wins are a sign of making progress. And it's always about progress. It's never about perfection. Did you hear me? It's always about progress, moving forward, taking a step in the right direction. It is never about perfection, because you and I will never reach a status of perfection. We are human beings who are flawed, who make mistakes, but you don't have to be perfect to have your dream body. You don't have to be perfect to have good health. You just have to be conscious of what you're doing. And it's okay to say, okay, where do I want to do better? But where did I do better? Where did I do better today than I did last time? Where did I do better this week than I did last week? Where did I do better this month than I did last month? Where did I do better this year than I did last year? And when you start recognizing those things that are improving, when you start recognizing your progress, when you start recognizing your sprouts, that is putting your focus in the right direction. Because wherever you focus, that is what you will get more of. And so when you focus on the solutions, you'll keep getting more solutions. When you focus on the problems, you will get more problems. Because when you focus on your problems, your brain deletes the solutions. Your brain can't process everything. But when you focus on the solutions, your brain deletes the problems. So many of us have been focusing on the problems, and we wonder why we have all the problems. Focusing on your problems will never help you come up with a solution. And so 3 steps. Recognize your triggers. What are the triggers that cause you to eat? What emotions? Is it a boss? Is it a husband? Is it kids? Is it a spouse? Is it taxes? Is it traffic? Is it your commute home? What is it? Number 2, make a plan. How will you deal with it the next time it happens? Because you're not going to take away stress. You're not going to take away joy. You're not going to take away jerky people. Okay? So what will the plan be? What are you going to do next time it happens? And then third thing, celebrate your progress, celebrate your wins, focus on the solutions, focus on this even if they're tiny steps. Your dream body isn't one huge step. It's a bunch of little steps in the right direction. That is how you're going to get to your goal. And so thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear what your biggest takeaway is tonight. Like, listening to this, is this something you already do? Is this something you hadn't thought of before? Because so often we all hear messages and we all have just a little bit different takeaway from it. You can put 50 people hearing the same message and all 50 can take something different away from it. So thank you for watching. We'll be back next week, same time, same place, right here on the channel, Tuesday nights. We're here to help make your weight loss journey a little simpler, a little easier, a little less frustrative, and a lot more effective, so that you are walking around 1 year from today feeling comfortable, confident, sexy, looking good in your own skin. So thanks for watching. We will see you back next week.